What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today I've got some pretty gosh darned exciting news to share with you. Now, by the time this video goes online, it's probably going to be somewhere in the region of midnight UK time. That's how exciting this news is. We are getting a Blaster and Soundwave deck. And it's using the proper job retro original artwork. And that makes me absolutely delighted. Now, I'd say we are getting this deck. And that is potentially a little bit of a misnomer. Because, you see, it's being released for San Diego Comic-Con. Now look, I've been a Chargers fan for many, many years. Yes, I know they left the city. But that endeared me to San Diego. I adore comic books and all things nerdy. I would love to go to San Diego Comic-Con. I don't live anywhere near San Diego. I live in the UK. That's a bit upsetting. Here's the good news. This will not be the only place to get this deck. They've said on the Twitter very clearly, this won't be the only place to get this version of Blaster versus Soundwave. So even though it is a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, it's not an exclusive. We shouldn't use that word really, although I've already seen it been used by multiple people, because there are going to be other places to get it. Does that mean other conventions? No idea. Does that mean it's going to be sold online at some point? No idea. Does that mean it's going to be sold outside of the US of A? I have no idea. What I can tell you is this. It looks amazing. It's coming out at San Diego Comic-Con. And there are going to be other places you can get this. Incidentally, if anyone is going to San Diego Comic-Con that's watching this and can pick me up one of these bad boys, I would love you forever. Hit me up on Twitter at the Wossy or email me at ptcgradio@hotmail.co.uk. I'm not joking, we'll work something out. I would be forever in your debt. Now, before we look at what we know about this deck, I should mention, they said on Twitter this is one of our San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. Although again, if it's not the only place to get it, we shouldn't really call it an exclusive. There's going to be more. Now, of course, last year, there were exclusives at San Diego Comic-Con. You see, they had, and this was before the release as a whole of the Transformers trading card game. This was before it came out. And they were giving away a few characters here and there, and people were picking up your commons and all of that. But there was a San Diego Comic-Con pack. And the San Diego Comic-Con pack was the only place, initially, where you could get the character cards Cliff Jumper and Skywarp, and the battle cards All Out Attack and Tandem Targeting System. And I say initially, but they never came out anywhere else. As of when I record this, as of the end of June 2019, Slipstream, Cliff Jumper, All Out Attack, and Tandem Targeting System cannot be gotten outside of these packs. Now, I've done a video about all of this. I'll pop a link in the description, save me repeating myself. All you need to know for the time being is, yeah, these cards aren't cheap, ladies and gentlemen. These cards are really gosh darned expensive. And the thing is that Cliff Jumper is a good card. And it did have some success over at Origins. Slipstream is a good card, and I've seen a bunch of people making decks with it. Now, Tandem Targeting System seems pretty bad. An All-Out Attack, honestly, it's interesting, and I like the idea of it in wide decks or super aggressive decks, but generally speaking, it's not been particularly good either. As for what these other exclusives are, we have no idea. Is that going to be another convention pack? That would be my guess. My guess is there's going to be a convention pack with exclusive characters. But as it stands, that is but a guess. We have absolutely no idea. So this deck then, what have we got? Okay, so we know that there are going to be 2 big and 6 little characters It is coming with 2 large foil and 6 small foil Transformers character cards, plus 80 battle cards. Now I can tell you, as of the moment, all of these are exclusive cards. Now, you can see there that there is a Ravage, and we've already had Raider Ravage, although I suppose technically it comes out, well, as I record tomorrow, but as you listen by the time it goes online, today. At least if we're going by UK times, which, come on, I'm clearly going by UK times. But it's not Ravage, it's Raider Ravage, and it's not Soundwave, it's Major Soundwave, so these are brand new cards. We've not seen Blaster, Steeljaw, Ramhorn, Eject, Frenzy, or Buzzsaw yet. These are characters which have not been released. So we can say with a fair degree of certainty that all 8 of these characters are brand new. Cool. Now, as for the little guys, as for Eject, Ramhorn, Steeljaw, Ravage, Buzzsaw, and Firefly, I really hope I'm reading them right. We have no idea. We have no information at all. There is nothing we can see on there other than a few designations. So it looks like Eject is a specialist, Ramhorn is a melee character, Steeljaw is a melee character, Ravage is a melee character, Buzzsaw is a range character, and Frenzy is a melee character. 4 melee, 1 specialist, 1 ranged. Okay, I lied. We know that much about them. Outside of that, we have literally no information. We can, however, have a look at Soundwave and Blaster because we've got a good look at their bot mode form. Though we don't know their alt mode form, we can see the stats, we don't know what the skills are, and we don't know the star cost. My guess here would be that the total stars add up to 25. So Soundwave, Ravage, Buzzsaw, and Frenzy add up to 25, and Blaster, Steeljaw, Ramhorn, and Eject add up to 25. That would make sense to me. Though having said that, in Wave 3, Soundwave is an 11-star character, Laserbeak is a 4-star character, and Ravage is a 4-star character, so they add up to 19, and even with a third one of them little cassettes, we would still actually only be up to 23, so maybe I'm wrong. Now, there's no point going into these characters in a huge amount of detail today. What we need to do is wait until they are revealed, and they will be revealed in the next couple of weeks, and then we can have a proper good look then. But Soundwave here is a Decepticon leader, which means that as long as it has 8 stars or more, you will be able to move 5 damage counters from it to one of your other characters using Callous leadership. So that's quite nice. It is a specialist, which means you've got all the cool tricks like Field Communicator, for instance, of which I am a rather large fan. And in terms of stats, 4 attack, 15 health, 2 defense. Generally speaking, that would make it more than an 8-star character. A stat line like that, we would usually be looking at somewhere around 11 or 12 stars. Again, that is just a guess. We can see that in alt mode, the attack goes down to 0 and the defense stays at 2. So something's going on in alt mode, it has no attack. And it's got a skill that reads, when you flip to this mode, deploy a mini cassette from under this to the battlefield in bot mode. When you do, look at your opponent's hand, choose a card from it, your opponent puts that card on top of their deck. So you're not discarding a card from their hand, but you are making sure that they're not actually top decking anything. Because at the beginning of their next turn, they're going to draw a card, but this basically says, ha ha ha, you're not drawing anything next turn, you're just getting your card back. So it seems very much like these cassettes deploy from under Soundwave in the same way as we saw with Metroplex previously. It seems like we've got a very similar thing going on here, because remember with Metroplex, when you flick it into alt mode, you get to deploy one of the characters from underneath it. Cool. Does that make Soundwave a 25-star character? It might, if I'm honest with you. It might. As for Blaster, also a specialist with a very similar stat line. Attack of 5, health of 14, defense of 1. So it basically swaps 1 defense for 1 attack. And in alt mode, it goes up to 2 defense, but it loses all of its attack and has 0. When you flip it into bot mode, deploy a mini cassette from under this to the battlefield in bot mode. When you do, play the top card of your deck. I mean, I don't know about you, but Blaster sounds way better than Soundwave to me. Just way better than Soundwave. Because taking a card from your opponent's hand, putting it on top of their deck, there's mild disruption, but generally they'll just draw it at the beginning of their next turn and kind of make it moot. But playing the top card of your deck, now bearing in mind I've been talking about this as a specialist with Field Communicator, that's really good. Now Field Communicator, when you play it on a specialist, scrap the top card of your deck and you are allowed to play it. That's really good. And then when you flick it into bot mode, you deploy a mini cassette, and then you get to play the top card of your deck. Blaster really strikes me as a great card, because it's going to allow you to play a whole bunch of extra cards. Although we do need to see what all of the mini cassettes do before we get overly excited. As a side note, all 6 of these you can see on the left-hand side of the designations, they are all designated as mini cassettes. As soon as we're shown what these cards do properly, I will, of course, bring you videos analysing what they do and how good they are. But for the time being, ladies and gentlemen, tell me what you think about this. Although, we don't know the other ways in which this is going to be released, so the sky is not falling. Please don't be too angry or too sad. It is not actually a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. They've already confirmed that. So let's wait until we hear their plans before we get too mad that it's San Diego Comic-Con only. But I would be very excited to know if you think Blaster's as good as I think it is. Go nuts in the comment section, but more than ever, please be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at @Wossy, where we talk about games like Transformers and a whole bunch of others. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.